Hello and welcome back to Smart Talk Sabah. Selamat datang kembali ke Smart Talk Sabah. Tonight is a little bit special because I'm stepping in as host for this episode. So kira lebih debut lah sikit untuk saya sini, untuk STS. Usually di belakang scene, tapi hari ini ada peluang pula jadi host untuk seorang yang very interesting, yang Sabahan voice. Jadi our guest tonight is Atalia Jawa, co-founder of Komuhakan Movement. She's a passionate about culture, identity, community, and role of young Sabahans in shaping the future of our state. This conversation also comes at the meaningful time. Sabah has just marked its 50th anniversary of the Double Six tragedy, one of the most important and painful moments in our state's history. Atalia juga mempunyai hubungan pribadi dengan sejarah ini sebagai cucu kepada mendiang Datuk Peter J. Mojuntin, salah seorang pemimpin Sabah yang terkorban dalam tragedi tersebut. But tonight, we do not want to talk about history only as tragedy. We want to talk about history as memory, access to history, identity, culture, and what young Sabahans can do moving forward. So Atalia, welcome to Smart Talk Sabah.
Thank you for inviting.
Okay, thank you. So let's go to the first segment. So since we are recording this shortly after the 50th anniversary of the Double Six, I think it's right that we begin there. For many Sabahans, Double Six is something we know as history, but for the families connected to it, it's also a personal memory. So my question is, when you hear the words Double Six, what comes to your mind first?
Well, what comes to my mind first is sejarah lah.
Hmm.
So anything sejarah, what happens in the past will affect us in the future. So if we don't know sejarah, we don't know why things are currently in the future. So it's important to learn history, especially Double Six, because of how it affected Sabah politically, economically, and also I would say as a whole lah. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So, adakah Double Six ini sesuatu yang Atalia fahami sejak when you were small, kecil, atau only bila kita menjadi dewasa baru kita lebih faham?
Actually, Double 60 when I was dalam primary school lah. I actually tidak faham. I only know yang kita pergi sana untuk for a memorial for my grandfather, but I didn't understand like the extent of what this for and who are these people. Saya ikut-ikut saja family saya.
Okay.
So I only truly understood it masa I would say time sekolah menengah.
Okay.
Because bila saya rasa after a few times pergi to memorial kan, okay, so this is part of history, tapi kenapa tidak dalam buku? And why is it only within Sabah punya circle, not the whole Malaysia? So I feel like growing up, I was questioning kenapa ni tidak akan cerita, why only certain parts are in our history books dari form 1 sampai form 5. So I started learning sendirilah about all this history. So Double Six, when I was small, saya tidak berapa tahu pasal apa, but as I grew up, I understood what it meant for the whole of Sabah.
So how did you belajar sendiri, like when you're in your understanding of Double Six?
Firstly, of course, through family lah.
Family members.
Yeah. And actually, I've had the book di rumah of my grandfather.
All right.
So that was my first time reading about it lah.
Okay.
So they were flying from Labuan, going back to KK, and then who are in the plane. Then at the time, I feel like, okay, they crashed. And I didn't understand apa tu MA63, apa tu oil agreement at that time lah. But I understood that people really respected these leaders. And I baca sendirilah. I went to Google. I went to macam budak kiranya macam unsupervised access to internet lah.
Yep.
So I read all the conspiracy theories people had and news articles lah. So that's how I studied sendiri.
Okay. So, like as you learn about this, these theories and conspiracy theories, stories about what happened, the reason behind, how does it make you feel? Like,
Um, when I was smaller, memang saya rasa macam I really subscribe to this
yep,
conspiracy theory lah, because we
mm,
want to believe that this is something really bad, and
mm,
macam any other opinion from the non-Sabahans are not true.
mm,
So we want to believe like this is a real tragedy and something that Sabahan should be angry about at the
mm,
time.
mm.
So at the time, begitulah saya rasa. But as I grew
Okay,
older, I can started to see like perspectives and also uh, what Sabahans should be knowing besides apa yang orang punya speculation on the internet lah.
okay. So, do you feel, Atalia, that sekarang ni anak muda Sabah dia cukup tahu ke tidak pasal double six as it stands now?
Um, in short, I think we're getting there
Mm,
because I've seen like contents di TikTok, social media,
mm.
talking about this incident lah, including
Yep,
myself.
yep.
And saya tengok macam beribu-ribu juga lah yang view, comment on
Mm.
it. But I think it's very emotional driven.
Yeah.
It's like they only see it as a tragedy yang it's really sad and they want someone to blame. But even as someone who has read like many books and the oral
Evidence kah?
evidence or evidence lah,
Mm.
macam semua pun lain-lain bah. So we
Mm.
cannot actually
Pinpoint kah?
pinpoint. But I understand of the feeling yang you want someone to blame.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're getting there, but okay lah, I have hope lah.
Okay, okay. So do you think like macam because of this, sejarah Sabah sebenarnya perlu diberi lebih perhatian dalam sekolah dan juga perbincangan awam? Because
Yeah.
there's a lack of stories you're hearing, people dari hearsay, theories. Is that what you feel? Macam from your experience?
I do feel that way. And I look to our school punya
Buku sejarah.
buku sejarah lah.
The books.
I've come to understand yang okay lah, if you want to include like Sabah and Sarawak punya history into the sejarah punya books,
Yep.
it's quite lengthy actually. And I know right now since I was in secondary school sampai sekarang they tukar juga lah itu syllabus. But then I feel like it's still not enough.
Okay.
So where we can start as Sabahans and Sarawakians, since we have our education autonomy lah, we can start by having our own curriculum or subject, not semestinya in public schools, maybe like tuition centers.
Tambahan lah.
Yeah, I mean even our museums we can put di sana. So that's a way yang we can share our own history without yang semua orang puas hati lah.
Okay.
For example, I went to Sarawak, dorang punya museum. Everything is there. The history from zaman Brooke sampai formation of Malaysia. So everything is included there, and the people of Sarawak can enjoy and learn about their own history. As well, I think that's where Sabah lacks something lah.
Perlu ada deeper punya understanding sama tempat
Yeah.
di mana mereka boleh apalah. Dalami lah sejarah dia kan. So I think it's like kalau begitu with history, sometimes with difficult history, people susah mau they avoid talking about it or they only talk it in political ways. So kalau macam kita perlu cari di mana ada jalan tengah, like middle ground. How do we remember this with cara yang bermaruah, cara yang penuh dignified, and then we can ask relevant questions kan, responsibly. And sebenarnya kita perlu bagi ruang supaya young people boleh understand apa actually happened and what actually shaped Sabah. Is that what you feel?
Yeah. So I feel like as anak muda sendiri and also a family member of one of the victims,
Yep.
there is no way of knowing who to blame and what actually happened because it was so long ago.
Yeah.
And the reports were only released on 2023. Yeah. So for me, the point how do we remember 66 or any other tragedy that is part of our history is questioning. So where do we go from here? So yeah, we acknowledge the leaders had passed away, and this is a tragedy which may or may not affect our oil, but I believe it did affect lah, and
Okay.
also the reamendment of apa including Sabah and Sarawak into one category as the other states in Semenanjung. So it did affect all that. But the question is, where do we go from here? Yeah. So, for example, right now, Sarawak is questioning the PDA. PDA.
Yeah,
And
the suit.
Sabar, the NGO, wants to apply as an intervener.
Okay.
So I feel like that is answering the question of where do we go from here. Yes, you may think, say anything about the PDA or 66, but you need to think of ways, where do you go from here. We cannot simply grieve for the sake of grieving. We must carry forward whatever the mission or their goals are for Sabah. So that's how you remember while honoring, bringing forward the apalah mission for Sabah.
Okay. Thank you for that, Atalia. One issue that is connected with it, I think penting, ialah access kepada sejarah. Like you have in the past publicly spoken about the book Peter J. Mojundin, The Golden Sun of Kadazan, written by Bernard Starr Maria, and called for the ban on the book to be lifted. Kan? Dan saya rasa perkara ini relevan sebab bukan saja dia berkaitan dengan Datuk Atalia, tapi juga menimbulkan satu persoalan yang lebih besar. Patutkah anak muda Sabah diberi akses kepada bahan-bahan yang membantu mereka memahami sejarah mereka sendiri? Jadi soalan saya, for those who may not know, can you share what this book about and why it matters to you?
So the book about my grandfather is called The Golden Sun of the Kadazan. So it tells the story of his childhood, where he grew up, and how did he started going into politics lah. And then after he got into politics, then what did he counter during his time in politics? From being the party UNCO, then becoming APCO, then becoming Berjaya. So the journey of his political career is in that book. And it includes topics such as the removal of Stephen Kalong Tingkan and also the exit of Singapore, as well as matters under Sabah matters that masa tu diorang under the rule of USNO lah, Mustafa. So everything is there. And I feel like whether people think it is true or not, or they like it or not, it's for the readers to interpret themselves. And Sabahans should be able to have access to this book and any other buku sejarah lah, because we need to think highly of Sabahans and Malaysians as a whole, yang kita ni sebenarnya can make our own opinions without relying on other people punya mulut saja. Even myself also, if I share history, I encourage them to read their own, have their own reading lah, because tidak semestinya saya betul. I may have my own biases. So even then, I try to become like a non-partisan, non-bias apalah, I would say educator or sharer of history. So this book is just one of those things that should be made available because people, I believe lah, the government should not say that it's under, it may threaten national security or
Because of the ISA. isn't it?
ISA. Because this book was banned actually under ISA dulu. And then when it was repealed in 2012, it became banned under SOSMA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like if you want to say, because it mentions about race and religion or extreme criticism of the federal government, I would say I have read other politicians punya buku, sama saja. They also criticize this and that, touch on this subject. But I feel like it's up to the readers to decide whether this is a good book or a bad book. And the government shouldn't actually stop that. So that's what I feel from the book lah. It's just a book that is supposed to be interpreted by the readers, especially Sabahans.
So you've read the book from start to finish.
Yeah, I have.
How big is the book?
About 250 pages.
Oh, tidak juga besar betul
Yeah,
lah.
no.
Okay. So what do you hope like, young Sabahans can learn from it from this book? In your perspective.
I would like to say that our history, Sabah history, is not just what you see in your secondary
Yeah.
school textbook.
Okay.
It's actually more than that. And actually banyak sudah resources of books that you can find di bookstores lah actually. There are books from Joe Samad and also in libraries actually yang Sabahans boleh pergi baca. And because I'm a strong advocate of people going to the libraries because satu buku sekarang mahal and also actually our libraries need readers also bah.
Yep.
And jangan biar tu buku sana berhabuk saja. So it's also a matter of providing the access to history and actually Sabahans seeking the history juga. Yeah.
So can you tell us about like the time where you wanted to call for the ban to be lifted? So what was your main intention? Kasih cerita dulu. Was it personal kah, historical kah, educational atau campur?
I would say it's a mix lah.
Okay.
Because I wrote the letter to the Prime Minister
Bila tu?
July 2024.
Oh, 2 years ago lah.
Sorry, 2023 I think, 23 lah.
Okay.
So, sorry, 24.
So PMX lah.
Yeah,
You wrote to
PMX.
PMX. Okay.
I decided to do that. Tidak orang suruh saya. Saya buat sendiri because I think I lost my grandmother the year before.
I see.
So I feel like, begini saja kan ni. I feel like she was the connection
With your great
with my
granddad.
grandfather lah. So I feel like, okay, I've read the book. I've seen the documentaries on it. And why does it have to be hidden?
Macam tidak puas hati begitu.
Tidak puas hati. Because benda ni kan, you have to correct dulu, baru kau dapat tahu pasal this history. When it should be like, kena tempel di buku-buku sejarah and also our museums lah. So I decided to write that letter because at the time I was living in Putrajaya. Saya terus hantar pergi
Senang mau hantar lah.
office dia.
Okay.
So
Faham.
yeah, that time I was really like filled with, I would say, semangat lah. Then I got a reply from one of the officers, I believe. They say, okay, you can forward this to KDN, Home Affairs. Okay, I
Okay.
went to Home Affairs. I sent them another letter. And then I got replied saying akan direview.
Oh.
Akan direview.
Ada tindakan lah.
Ya, akan ada tindakan.
Okay.
Then I waited for a few months. So I was still feeling macam
Hopeful?
bukan, macam anxious lah.
Oh, okay.
Kenapa tidak apa-apa ni?
Yep.
And I wrote a letter to CM Sabah
Oh,
as
okay.
well. Itu pun saya hantar pergi
Office ini.
office dia.
Okay.
I think I did that in a span of July, August, September, July. 3 months saja.
Dalam 3 bulan. Okay.
At that time saya kena tegur juga lah from my family members because dia bilang, kau ingat
Kenapa?
menteri punya kerja ini saja kah? Dia
Yep.
bilang. But then I said, hello, this has been for
Lama
almost 45 years,
40 plus years sudah
40
kan.
plus years sudah. And why cannot they review? Because I read the last time this book was acknowledged by the federal government was 2015 by then Home Affairs Minister Zahid Hamidi lah.
Okay.
Dia bilang we cannot unban this because of apalah
Isu dia.
And then I believe Datuk Iwan Benedict also brought it up in Parliament and also Datuk Dara Liking. So I feel like tidak cara lain sudah nih. Kita sudah kasih exhaust all
Yep. Cara rasmi.
cara. So I feel like tidak boleh. Semesti buat cara ganas. Macam itulah.
Okay.
So yalah since 2024 tuh sampai sekarang nothing.
So still tiada tindakan lah lepas
Tiada
itu.
tindakan.
I see. Okay. So do you think like yang Sabahan kan, anak muda Sabah ni should be given trust atau kepercayaan untuk baca, untuk membincangkan, untuk faham sendiri bahagian sejarah, dan maybe it can be difficult, sukar atau sensitif.
I think we should. Because sekarang ni kita boleh mengundi at the age of 18 bah. And if you don't have that knowledge, like I would consider MA63 66 is basic history.
Part of it also.
Yeah. It's like something you should know before you vote. And we are supposed to be able to discuss this matter lah. Even ada yang cakap budak-budak university sepatutnya tidak bincang pasal politik. Belajar saja.
Yep.
But we are allowed to vote. Orang habis SPM 17, masuk uni 18, 19, 20. We should be able to talk about these things because we are part of it. And whether we are right or wrong, of course we still need guidance lah.
Yep.
It depends on our exposure to these histories growing up and which perspectives are being served to us. So kita mesti learn, unlearn, relearn. Macam tu lah. I take that quote from Dr. Shari Jeffrey lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So after 50 years lah, Talia, like what is the one thing that you hope that Sabahans, especially young Sabahans, can take from 66?
I feel what they can take is we must not forget history lah. Because for example, if we forget history, kita lupa pasal this tragedy, the memorial apa-apa lah, memorial statue or building yang bersejarah lah, kita lupa, then we will lose value of it in our eyes. So senang-senang kita akan cakap, oh tidak penting ni, kita kasih rubuh lah, we make new skyscrapers or new malls. So when you lose that sense of value ataupun you hilang like the sense of belonging, it's quite sad lah.
Yeah.
Bukan orang bilang tidak move on, but
Betul.
it's something you must keep where yang kau treasure sajalah bagi saya. You must
Yep.
know.
And I feel like macam knowing and learning about your history is important if you want to know where to go moving forward. Sebab kalau kita tidak belajar dari dulu, macam mana kita mau menjadi baik dari dulu? Because it's part and you cannot ignore where you came from atau macam apa kan. So
Nanti you end up repeating the same mistakes.
dan kita selalu belajar kan, belajar dari kesilapan.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily kesilapan, tapi even understanding your sejarah tu penting lah, because when you want to move on, you have to make plans. You still need to remember your roots juga, ujung-ujung dia kan. So Dalia, we move on to the next segment. So we talked about the 66 and access to history, but we also want to know Atalia beyond that connection, because of course you're not only here because of your connection to history, you're also a young Sabahans, you have your own voice, your own journey, and you have your own work. So let's get to the basics. Who is Atalia Jawa?
So Atalia Jawa is just a a girl from Penampang,
Okay.
Kadazan, and she grew up typical orang orang Sabah lah,
Okay.
speaking English, Malay, and dulu sekolah interested to become macam-macam lah. Mula-mula mau jadi penyanyi, mau jadi badminton player.
Okay.
And then towards the end of my secondary school, rasa macam mau buat tourism, adventure there, because I had interest in culture and language.
Okay.
Tapi biasalah kalau family member ni macam susah mau cari kerja kalau tourism ni. Alright. So macam at the time saya tidak faham lah what do they mean by this. Bila orang cakap, oh ni kalau kau tidak budget kah, kau tidak apa, ni susah mau cari. It depends on the government or macam funding lah and policy. So at the time saya tidak faham. And when I go out of high school, jadi saya tengok lah, saya tidak mau buat medik, saya tidak mau buat engineering. So I feel like the middle ground for me and my family tu, ambil law sajalah. Ambil law.
Macam pernah dengar tu
Jadi
alasan tu.
when
Okay.
I took law, itu baru foundation.
Okay.
So foundation tu pun I still feel like in my heart, okay, foundation je saya buat law, and then degree saya boleh buat benda lain lah.
Okay.
But end up saya tak ambil juga degree. But then at the time my interest changed a bit lah. I discovered international law, global affairs. So okay juga jadi macam diplomat, PTD. But then yalah, because I feel like it's still about tourism, I mean about culture, language, representing Malaysia in a global stage. Macam tu.
Okay.
But then saya terrealize juga, okay, I'm thinking of global issues representing Malaysia internationally. Tapi actually di rumah masih banyak kerja lagi yang membuat. Sabarlah. So in my heart saya rasa, why should I leave when masih ada kerja di sini? But of course orang bilang boleh je kau kerja overseas dulu,
And
kau
then
keluar dulu
come
ambil pengalaman. But saya rasa it wasn't my calling lah. Bukan saya condemn orang tidak balik Sabah, kebalik
Yeah.
Malaysia. But it wasn't just for me lah at the time. And then I learned to love law lah. Not because I suka baca akta ke apa. But I understood why maybe saya kena put in this path. The knowledge that I gained there, not just macam teori lah, but I understood how I can help Sabah from this area. Dan saya faham apa maksud orang tourism is part of funding, policy semua. Because everything is politics sebenarnya. Politics and law. The politicians are the lawmakers. So dari situ saya faham, dan saya radu sejak saya punya law degree. And
Okay.
ya, saya tidak menyesal lah.
Okay, menarik. Saya paling berminat tu alasan kenapa mau jadi law. Macam sangkut tengah-tengah. Macam saya kenal bah. Itu alasan sama
Macam
juga.
pengalaman sendiri
Ya,
kah?
macam terasa tau. So Atalia, like memang bila Atalia dapat tahu yang memang you're really interested in like doing culture community work. When did you actually know? Macam time degree tu kah?
To me,
Awal lagi.
actually dari dulu lagi, but then I only started thinking, takkan saya mau complain saja, I must do something about it.
Okay.
So obviously bila orang Kadazan atau dusun anything indigenous lah, bila kau tidak pandai cakap bahasa ibunda, kau kena question.
Kena
Kenapa
tiaw
kau
lah.
ya. Kau ni nama saja ini tapi kau tidak apa. Especially lagi yang kena cakap cucu anu kan.
Alah,
Begitulah.
Okay.
So I feel like okay, I must do something. Why not sambil saya belajar, saya share this knowledge sama orang lain juga. So
Okay.
that's how Komuhakan movement came about lah.
I
Saya sama
see.
kawan saya started this in social media time COVID.
Oh.
Yeah, 2020. So yeah, everything was online. We started simple. Kasih ajar Kadazan Dusun word of the day.
I
Apa
see.
ada dalam Melayu, apa dalam English. So until now we're doing that lah. And besides that kami ajar apa maksud kamatan apa semua, because I feel like just hari bukan bulan 5 sejak kau mengingat ni
Ini
kamatan.
kamatan.
Yeah. So it's something you must know lah. Kalau macam baju, nama dia apa, ini aksesori apa. So it's just like an alternative for
Kind of learning lah. Is it?
yeah.
Okay. Apa maksud itu komuhakan?
Komuhakan means youth lah.
Youth.
Youth. So
In Kadazan.
yeah.
Okay.
Then the punya root word is omuhok lah, meaning young. Yeah. So komuhakan youth. Kalau dusun komulakan lah. Yeah.
Komulakan itu apa? Okay. But okay, so after starting komuhakan kan, what gap do you see among young Sabahans when it comes to culture, heritage sama indigenous identity?
Nah, ini
Siok nih soalan.
yeah, because I feel like even the term kadazan and dusun
Nah,
is also tied to politics.
memang.
So that's why at first I was like determined, me and my friends lah, yang kita tidak mesti involve politik, kita mesti macam, okay kita ajar jadi word begini-begini. But people started asking question, apa beza kadazan dusun, apa tu KDMR, apa lagi ni momogun. So, okay, we need to accept the fact we must address this issue. So, that's where the youths come in and ask questions lah.
Okay.
And then that's where we look into history. Dari mana ni terms muncul?
Dari
and
mana?
how did it become this issue sampai sekarang?
Okay.
And even I say it's politics because it's the politicians that are making the decision on what to call ourselves.
Yalah.
And
Label.
it all ties to macam identity politics jugalah.
Okay.
But yang sedihnya, because of this, orang yang for example the custodians of the culture lah, macam Bobo Hizan apa semua, they are, I would say, having trouble lah, because orang yang baru mau start belajar ni dia bingung mau dengar cakap ini kah, mau dengar cakap itu. So end up they tak payahlah belajar. Yeah. So susah lah. Everything eventually comes to policy, even your culture, even the language that you speak. Yeah.
So meaning itu gap banyak dia punya kategori yang macam semua berkait-kait dengan identity, macam kita bilang lah, mungkin dia satu lagi sejarah budaya, tapi ada juga berkait sama politik lah. Misal kayak
Yeah, because I've read and also I talked to like people who go deep into this history lah. Dia bilang beza kadazan and dusun ni actually is how we were taxed and how the geography was back then bah. It wasn't even political back then.
okay.
Cuma eventually it became one. And suddenly until now dia begitulah.
Would you mind sharing a summarized version
Summarized version
for our apa?
Basically kadazan are known to be in the west coast lah.
Okay.
Mostly orang bilang tinggal sana. Dusun is interior.
Right.
So dorang bilang dulu ada Kesultanan Brunei.
Okay.
So
That area.
area sana dia bilang, oh Sultan Brunei ini tax orang sini berapa, ini berapa. Apa mau panggil dorang? Sana dusun lah, sebab dorang kerja di dusun.
Kerja dusun.
Yang kadazan ni dorang macam dekat-dekat kedai-kedai apa semua dekat town, panggil orang kadazan lah. So
Okay.
it's just a matter of geography juga lah at the time. And I think because Sabah was going to self-governance, and then at the time the politicians were like thinking, how do we address ourselves? Then we go back to history lagi lah.
Yep.
Yeah. But to me, there was a problem in the past yang sampai sekarang ada.
Okay.
That's like an example of how the past still affects us in the future lah.
Right.
So that is the gap lah, identity kecalaruan.
Okay. So that explains a bit about kadazan sama dusun. Now we've heard this about the momogun
Yeah.
juga. Itu macam mana pula itu? Story dia.
Okay, so after Kadazan Dusun, the
Then there was a Cantum
Kadazan
lah,
Dusun,
KDM,
Kana
KD.
Cantum. I think that time it was Parin Kitingan punya masa. Dia cakap
Okay, Tan Sri apa?
daripada kita bergaduh, kita kasih gabung saja.
Campur sial lah.
That is like a
satu.
simplified version of what he said lah.
Right, of
And
course.
then we started thinking of adding Murut Rungus. So that is where KDMR came in.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after that they suggested Momogun. Because
Yes.
KDMR is just an acronym.
Acronym.
Which is like macam susah kamu explain. And then dia macam exclude the other
Ada lagi
belas-belas
etnik yang apa kan?
puluh-puluh etnik di Sabah ni.
Yeah.
So that's why they suggested Momogun. Tapi ada yang tidak mau. And then sekarang I think I heard mau KDMRS lagi for sungai.
Ya, ada saya membaca tuh. Yes.
So macam this is how
Lain sudah.
Sabahans are split right now.
Okay.
And yalah, itu sejarah dia because the sejarah is still ongoing.
But the Momogun term it came from memang ada atau just apa? It's a
Actually
new
dulu
word.
memang ada.
Okay.
Memang ada. And even the term dusun dulu
Tidak ada.
teda. They call it sendiri Kimaragang, Tobilung, semua
Okay.
tuh. But then dia cakap, okay kamu semua kita kasih dusun je lah. Because dulu memang ada civil pergaduhan lah.
Right.
So they want to unite
Satu
dusun.
lah taruh.
So dusun Tobilung, dusun Tatana, semua tuh.
Ya, baru
So-
dusun pecah-pecah tu lah. Dia punya no.
So, itulah kita macam kecelaruan identity ba. And that's how we are divided right now, I believe.
So like macam banyak mau belajar, masih banyak lagi celaru sama banyak lagi debat. How do we help young Sabahans to see culture like as something, not just something that we display, tapi something that shapes us in confidence as we build our identity for the future.
So, I believe, yes, in terms of protecting the culture and language, kita mesti tahulah what to call ourselves juga. But don't let that sampai kita mau divide among ourselves. If you're Sabahan, kau Cina kah, kau Kadazan kah, kau India or anything lah, you are still Sabahan. And kita ni banyak mix sudah bah sebenarnya.
Yep.
And you cannot stop that lah. You cannot stop who you marry. Macam tu lah. But the way we navigate is openness lah. Jangan kita inherit bad blood or bad anything yang in the past kita punya leaders buat, kita jangan follow. Yang bagus kita ambil lah. But then we must be able to have these hard conversations. Don't hide behind ini sensitive issue, tidak boleh. No, we must address it. And yalah, kita juga jangan cepat terasa. Kita mesti mampu menegur dan ditegur lah. So that's how we can move forward.
Okay. So let's go back to Komuakan. Like right now, like what are you guys doing with Komuakan? Like in your objectives.
So Komuhakan actually we're a bit slow now sebab
Okay.
most of us are either working or studying out of Sabah or
Right.
out of Malaysia pun ada.
Okay.
So we can only do stuff online lah. If not pun yang a few people who are in KK or in Malaysia can do something lah. So we try to educate on culture, language, and also contemporary issues lah. That's what we've been doing. And yeah, it's just been a bit slow lah. Yang paling-paling pun kita update our social media, write articles. So
How was the sambutan? Like when you started the Komuakan apa?
very good lah, very good actually. We didn't expect it to be big lah sebenarnya.
All right.
Because we were just university students. And we were not expecting apa-apa bayaran. And kita ni macam, we just wanted to have a community yang where the youths can come together and study.
Okay.
So orang muda nih kalau dorang mau belajar bahasa atau anything kan dorang malu-malu because they feel like they know so little, dorang takut mau bertanya. And bila dorang bertanya, dorang kena shame.
Takut kena kecam lah nih kan.
So we
Sama lah.
wanted to create that safe space. Itu saja sebenarnya. But yalah, we try to be more active and obviously I'm looking for bukanlah replacement macam apa kena panggil tuh?
Tambahan.
Bukan tambahan yang the next generation
Oh,
lah.
next gen. Penyambung lah.
Penyambung lah.
Okay.
Because saya sama kawan-kawan saya bukan selamanya
Mau
selamanya youth.
Mau tambah tim lah nih ya.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think
Your audience macam mana? Like youth kah atau ada juga orang tua?
youth orang tua pun ada because ada orang tua membesar tidak kena
Tidak
ajar.
tahu.
Ya.
Jadi barulah dapat tahu begini pula cara dia.
Usually orang yang mix lah because bapa bangsa lain, mama bangsa lain end up di rumah cakap Melayu.
Iya.
Macam tuh.
Macam kenal tuh. Okay.
So, yalah, we do our best and obviously we are looking for new people. But we are struggling. But I believe in the future ada harapan because usually people do this stuff kan they ask themselves, what do I get from this?
Iyalah.
But when I started Komuhakan or whatever my friends started lah yang saya kenalkan, kami tidak tanya soalan what do we get from this. We just started because kami mau
buat barang. So like I think that goes nicely into my next question lah. Kalau ada anak muda yang menonton, dia mau kembali dekat dengan dia punya budaya dan sejarah, apakah nasihat Atalia langkah yang mudah mereka boleh buat?
Langkah yang mudah just
selain join Komuhakan.
just pick up a book lah.
Okay.
Just pick up a book. Jangan kau everything you want to put in one plate dulu.
Right.
Start with little bites. Baca buku if you're into cultural punya apa dulu history, read that first. If you're into politics punya history, you can read that first. Because at the end when you read semua benda ni baru kau punya knowledge, kau punya perspectives widen.
Makin banyak lah.
Yeah. You don't have to pressure yourself untuk tahu semua in one go. You just one by one lah. Tapi of course I would say like anything you do mesti ada disiplin lah. And it's a commitment sebenarnya. And you cannot just say your identity untuk saya lah. If you say you're Sabahan, you must be able to fully embody it. Bukan orang bilang kalau kau naik Gunung Kinabalu kau bukan Sabahan. Bukan setakat itulah. You must
macam kenal juga soalan.
You need to understand who you are lah. Yang kau boleh jawab orang. Bila orang non Sabahan tanya kau saran kau boleh jawab. Bukan saya tidak kena ajar nih. You cannot use that alasan sudah bagi saya lah. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess that's also what you hope to see in the next generation lah. Like Sabahan yang 50 tahun akan datang lebih berani, lebih yakin lah dengan pemahaman mereka, how they can people ask about Sabah, they can actually knowingly lah tahu apa yang mau jawab kan dengan sejarah mereka.
Yeah, because to me ada 3 benda yang penting.
Okay.
1, knowledge.
Yep.
Another one is suara lantang.
Right.
And another one is unity.
Okay.
So I like to picture this as a triangle lah.
Okay.
If you have knowledge and you have unity, tapi kau tiada suara yang lantang,
Right.
meaning you're not doing anything lah, you're stagnant saja. You have all this knowledge and you have all these people, but then you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
If you have knowledge and you have suara lantang, but you don't have unity, you are
Pun susah
divided.
juga.
Kau buat saya buat saya.
Masalah juga lah.
Itulah datangnya banyak pola pikiran politik kita sekarang. So next thing is you have suara lantang, you have community, but you don't have knowledge. Kotin kosong saja.
Masalah juga tuh.
Yeah, so to me, youths, anak-anak muda Sabah ni, they must have all 3 lah. Only with that kita boleh move forward and not repeat the same mistakes
of yesteryears lah.
And learn what is what was good and how we can continue that.
Avoid the bad. Okay. Talia, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I think for me, this conversation is a reminder that history is not just something we read once in a year atau remember during anniversaries. It's something that we carry through our identity, our values, our culture, and the way we choose to build the future. Dan mungkin cara yang terbaik untuk menghormati masa yang lalu bukan hanya dengan mengingatinya dengan penuh bermarwah, tapi dengan memberikan komitmen untuk melakukan sesuatu yang lebih bermakna dan bermanfaat daripada memori itu. So to everyone that's watching, thank you again for joining us, Smart Talk Sabah. I hope tonight's conversation encourages more young Sabahans to learn our history, reconnect with our identity, and take part in shaping Sabah's next chapter. Saya Nizam Saleh Kerouac, and this is Smart Talk Sabah. Thank you again, Natalia.
Thank you. Bye-bye.